Recession triggered reads the headline from Zero Hedge as jobs collapse, unemployment jumps, and the dreaded recessionary SAM rule triggers. The Fed seems to agree, with markets now predicting a half-point rate cut in September, and two of America's largest banks, JP Morgan and Citi, predicting another half-point cut at the following Fed meeting in November, just days after the election. A full point in two meetings qualifies as panic in central banking. And considering inflation is still in full swing and the Fed knows darn well that rate cuts make inflation go up, that would strongly suggest the Fed is battening down for a hurricane, whatever sweet nothings Jerome Powell is peddling these days to make sure the normies get blindsided. The dismal numbers come from Friday's job report, which alleges the U.S. added just 83,000 jobs last month, down from an alleged 206,000 the previous month. This is all alleged because aside from the revisions that come like clockwork, most jobs this year may actually be statistical illusion going by the household survey. Meanwhile, for a year now, we are seeing the new jobs are actually part-time gigs, while we lose almost the exact same number of full-time jobs. Plus, of course, the overwhelming majority of new jobs actually going to government workers, government welfare spending, and imported migrants. I mentioned in recent videos that native-born workers, which includes native-born immigrants, have had zero job growth since June of 2018. In terms of composition, last month, government and social assistance continued their takeover of the U.S. economy, hogging nearly two-thirds of all new jobs. The rest of the economy that actually produces stuff, from manufacturing, construction to transport and services, is down to just a third. Tallying it up, official unemployment jumped to 4.3%, which is the highest since October of 2021, when Bidenflation was running wild. Note that if you include discouraged workers who've given up on a job, the so-called U6 rate, official unemployment is almost 8%, and it's up a half point on the month. Even controlling for layoffs for Hurricane Beryl, that's roughly 300,000 new unemployed on the month. Finally, the jobs number triggered the dreaded SAM rule, widely cited in financial markets to predict recessions. The rule triggers when average unemployment goes a half point above its one-year low, and it just triggered. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Going by rate cuts, the Fed is clearly panicked. The question is how much? If Morgan and Citi are correct that we're in for a full point of cuts in two meetings, that is a proper panic, suggesting the Fed knows a big one is coming or it's already here. And as always, they're hiding it instead of giving regular Americans the heads up. Fortunately, most Americans think we're already in recession. No, recessions typically aren't announced until 9 to 12 months after they begin. So at least those Americans will be able to protect themselves. Well, they can protect their portfolios, not their jobs. As for the rest who are still merrily drinking the Kool-Aid, millions will get wiped out. A new episode of the podcast just dropped, as well as an interview with Lena Zaicha of Little Hodlers on starting a business in El Salvador and what it's like working with base President Bukele. Check them out at Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.